Okay, welcome back to Planning, Pacing, and Prioritizing for COVID Long Haulers. This is part 2. Please make sure you saw part 1 where I'm trying to sell you on planning, pacing, and prioritizing. Okay, so either on your handout or on a piece of paper, I want you to write down your weekly tasks, but we're already going to try and prioritize them by talking about what is important and what is less important. So we're going to have 4 quadrants. In the upper left, we're going to have important fixed times. So these are things that you have to do at a specific time. In the upper right, it'll be important things that you need to do, but these times are flexible. And the lower left, we've got things that are less important, but that you need to do at a specific time. And then in the bottom right, we've got things that are less important, but that you can do at a flexible time. So I prefer that we think about your whole week initially. And then that way you can go back through day by day and check and see what you're kind of supposed to be doing, and then you can modify that as needed. So go ahead and pause the video and write down as many things as you can think of. Okay. So here's what I came up with first. So I work, I've got kids that I need to do daycare drop off. I've got health appointments. I need to do meals at fixed times. I need to watch my kids at specific times. I need to take out the trash at specific times. For fixed times, less important, I've got other appointments. For important flexible times, I have laundry, groceries, pay the bill, dishes, and kind of basic cleaning. And then for flexible, less important, I have deep cleaning and organizing. So maybe this will cue a couple of things that maybe you left off your plan. So if anything else springs to mind, go ahead and add it in. Or maybe you're like me and you only wrote down things that you have to do and you did not write down anything that you actually enjoy doing. So go back in. I added in for fixed times important, I added in yoga class and I added in my morning routine. For less important, I added in some social events and I added in my evening routine. And then for flexible times important, I added in grooming routine because I feel a lot better if one time a week I sit down and I shave my legs and I do my nails and I, do all the lady things. And then I also added in, oh yes, this project is very important to me. So go back in and please add some things that are important to you, things that are for your self-care, things that you enjoy doing. Okay, next we are going to try to hand some of these tasks off to others. Is there any way that we can have it where we are physically doing it less? Where somebody else can do it for us. So, for example, I am only doing grocery pickup now. I am not going into the store whenever humanly possible. Additionally, I have all my bills on auto pay with the exception of one, and so I just have a reminder on my phone calendar to pay that, and it takes me just a few minutes every month to pay that bill. And then also I decided to hire somebody to come in every 3 weeks to do my toilets and my bathtub and my shower. And besides that, I just kind of spray them when needed. So I took the deep cleaning off the list of things that I need to do. Okay, so back to this. What we're gonna go through is we're gonna go through each of these tasks and kind of rank them for if it is restful, easy, challenge, or danger. Okay, so is this an activity that causes you to crash? If yes, that's going to be danger. Is this an activity that feels challenging for you? Is this an activity that you feel like you can do without any problems? So go back to your list, and we're going to use the E, the C, and the D to indicate how difficult you currently feel like these are going for you. Okay, so I didn't use rest at all because technically for rest, you should be laying down or in a very comfortable position, eyes closed, brain break. So none of these are restful activities for me. Rest is going to be the breaks in between. You can see I do have quite a few challenging activities, but I also have a few tasks that I do consider to be easy. I only have danger for one, which is my childcare. So I've got 2 toddlers and they're a lot. Luckily, I asked my parents for help. So I have 1 day a week where I have kind of off from both kids and work. So that's been really helpful for me. And so if I get that help 1 day a week, then many times my kids are just challenging, but I do have to watch it. So if I get up in the danger zone with them, then basically it's like, oh, we're going to be getting a toy out that I never let you play with, or we're going to put you in front of the television for a little bit until I feel like you are just a challenge instead of dangerous. So let's go through and figure out how to make any danger or challenging activities even easier. So if we go back to the money metaphor, we're getting these tasks on a sale price. We're getting them at a discount if you make these activities easier. So the first thing is just giving yourself a lot of time for each activity so you can really do little chunks and then rest between the chunks. And so think about how you can divide these tasks up to make them a little bit more manageable. Also, we're going to be talking about adjusting the task itself or the position in which you perform the task. So here I've got a few examples visually, and then we'll go over that in the next slide, some ideas I have to make things easier. So here, right smack in the middle, you've got my kitchen. I've got a stool in there. If you also look at the countertop, then I've already got a pan sitting on the stove. That's the pan I use the most. Right next to that, I have the cooking things that I use the most. I've got my spices. I've got oils that I frequently use. And next to that, I've already got a cleaner out and paper towel so I can just very quickly wipe up as I need to. My kitchen is pretty well set up because it's quite small, so everything's in pretty easy reach. You can't tell this, but I've got the implements next to the cooktop, and I've also got knives on the wall, so it's very, very easy for me to access everything. It's not much work for me to drag that stool over to the sink to wash dishes, for example. Next to that, I've got the picture of the bathtub with the little stool. I am still bathing my kids, and so I love these little stools for squatting down. If you've got pots, I love these because you are in a spot where actually you might feel quite a bit better squatting down. And you're not having to do any work, so it's a restful squat. So it's even better than standing for a lot of tasks or sitting with your legs down, where you have maybe a little bit more change of flow, into your legs. So highly encourage people to go out and buy these $7 IKEA stools. But yes, this takes a lot of work on my body. I'm not having to bend over. I'm not uncomfortable at all. This would be great placed in front of a washer and dryer for pulling clothes out if it's a front loader. I also have one in my shower for if you want to use this in place of a shower chair. Nothing wrong with shower chairs. A lot of times if they have the back, they can be a little bit more restful. So over here in the shower, I also have my shampoo and conditioner and soap within easy reach on the floor, so I'm not having to change positions in order to do that. I've got a picture of a squatty potty next to my toilet. You can also just use a stool for that. If having bowel movements or urinating feels difficult, please, 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 please buy this. Also, if you have any pelvic floor dysfunction, difficulty holding your urine, things like that, this puts your body in the optimal position to poo and to pee. Okay, and then the last picture on here, I've got a makeup mirror. So I had this installed into my wall. You can install this at chair level, or you can also install it next to your toilet so that you are not having to get up to look in the mirror, to floss your teeth, to put on your makeup, to look at your face. So I highly recommend it. They come out and they swing on an arm. They've got a light around it so that you can turn that on. It magnifies. So put this in a place where it's accessible to you. Like I said, if you have room in your bathroom to pull a chair up, fantastic. Or maybe you close the lid of your toilet and you sit on the lid of your toilet, and you have this next to your toilet, so that way you're not having to stand to look into the mirror to groom. So just to cover some of these a little bit more in writing, here are some ways to go through and make tasks easier. So for example, for laundry, spreading it throughout the day, using a wheeled laundry basket. If your laundry is down steps, put your laundry in a bag and throw it down the stairs instead of carrying it. You can use lingerie bags to keep your clothes together in the wash, so you're not having to reach in and peel individual socks off the washer wall. If you've got a top loader, you can use a reacher to reach in and get those lingerie bags out. That's especially important if you're a little bit of a shorty. When you fold, make sure you're sitting down. Have a folding table so that way you can rest your elbows if you need to for a little bit additional stability, so you're not having your arms up the whole time. This is also a favorite one of mine to outsource. My kids are pretty little. They're 2 and 3, but I already have them helping me with laundry. So if you've got kids, please teach your kids to do their own laundry. They can honestly start when they're about 4 or 5 years old. For shopping, I highly recommend using a delivery or pickup service. I use Instacart or Target Pickup. If you are going in the store, please avoid busier shopping times. Use a shopping cart. Don't be carrying a bag or carrying items in your hand. Shopping carts, you can actually lean onto them and save quite a bit of energy. If you live in a place where you don't have steps to get into your house, or where you have an elevator to get to your apartment, please get a wheeled cart so you can easily get things in and out of your place. You can use that for shopping. You can use that for other items. You can bring refrigerated items in first, and then the rest you don't necessarily have to bring in at the same time, so you can pace that. So this is a really good tip sheet. Please pause, think about how to make each of those tasks more accessible. The common denominators here are, can you sit down to do it? Can you use equipment that will take the work of the task off of you? Avoid that bending. Use that long-handled equipment. And then don't forget about the sensory piece too. So harsh cleansers really bother me. So think about just using, can I just use baking soda or vinegar, or is there a particular brand that isn't bothering me when I use it? So, go through, brainstorm, and stay tuned for part 3 in this series.